Welcome back. And now to the most dreaded part of a student's life, the selection process. Group discussion, interview skills, and writing the resume. Welcome participants on this session. Always remember, group discussion is not a debate. In interviews, they are not trying to eliminate. And during resume, everything that you put on that paper will frame a question. On that note, I welcome you all back, and I'm ready to field all questions on these three topics. Do we have our centers geared up?
Okay, Vali.
Welcome back. This is Dr. Jha, and I'm ready to field questions on group discussion, interview skills, and resume writing.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning.
Morning. Please go ahead.
So my question is, we'll be attending for a job interview, right? So there will be having a group discussion. So by taking the lead and starting those discussion, does it shows an impact on getting those job?
Getting those jobs is a far cry, but taking the initiative definitely earns you a brownie point if you have initiated it well. Always remember, when they have come to your college to select, to evaluate you on your group discussion ability, they are trying to see not just that whether you are the first one to talk or not. What they are trying to evaluate is whether you are the first one to take the initiative in the right manner and give the group discussion the right track or not. Okay? So you always earn a brownie point. How should you initiate is the question. When you initiate, introduce the topic, talk about the various parameters that it could be discussed on, and then perhaps if you have a very important point to make, you may make that point. So basically the job of the initiator is to introduce the topic and set the group discussion on the right track. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
And
Another question. We'll be having a discussion like 10 to 20 minutes on.
yes.
So if a person is speaking like around 2-3 minutes, is it necessary to interrupt those discussion and start speaking?
No, certainly not. Certainly not. 2-3 minutes. Now, there is a way to interrupt, interject. Okay? So when the person, let us suppose the person is just talking about one point, he's not even building upon that point, and he's merely beating around the bush. Okay? In that case, you should wait for that moment when there is a lull in his communication. Okay? So he would be, after making his point or a sentence, the moment he is at the end of a sentence, that is the point when you can interject. You can raise your hand, or you can just say, oh, well, that's a very interesting observation of yours, to add to it. So this is how you can interject. Because just one person talking and the rest of them not getting a chance to talk, again, it is not a group discussion which is happening. Okay?
AKS University.
Hello, AKS University.
Not getting any video from your side.
AKS?
We are not getting any video or very low audio from your
Please
side.
check the video and the audio.
University, BDT College. You're not audible. Please check your mic. No, ma'am. Sorry, you're not audible.
We can't hear you.
We'll get back to you. Please resolve your mic problem.
Can they hear us?
Yeah. Vidya Jyoti.
Welcome back, Vidya Jyoti.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. When I start speaking in official meetings, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Please go ahead.
Good morning, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Yes. When I start, when I start speaking in official meetings, I was unable to complete the overall theme or matter in a given time. Please tell me the tips to avoid this.
When you, as I gather, when you start talking in official meetings, you are not able to complete your sentences in the allotted time. Is that it? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So the best thing to do is maybe over there, you may not realize, but in an anxiety to present everything, to say everything, you could be losing track. So the best thing to do is organize your thoughts, make a note of it, and then go for those official meetings. So when you have made the note of it point-wise in your bullet points, you could be talking in bullets. That way you would begin, and then people who want a particular point to be expanded upon, elucidated upon, they would come back to you. So make points to begin with, start making notes of the points you wish to talk, take that note over there and then participate in the meeting. Okay? Will that do for you? Vidya Jyoti, will that do for you?
Thanks, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. This is Neha.
Yes.
My question is, during a presentation, because of various reasons, we might suddenly blank out. So how to overcome these kind of problems?
So would these presentation be oral presentation or would they be slide presentation?
Oral.
Okay. In that case, if it is not a slide presentation, it's an oral presentation, have cue cards. You have those 6x6 cue cards, right? Write down the main points on those cue cards. So when you flash them, they are also known as flashcards. So have them to begin with, have them there. They look very smart, okay? And whenever you falter, you could, or whenever you blank out, you could just look at them and then start talking. Always remember, when we think that we have blanked out and we do not have anything to say,
Yes.
the gap seems to be immense. We think that we have been keeping quiet for maybe ages, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but when you ask, it has not even been 30 seconds. And you would usually blank out after making a very important point. Because if you are a good orator, and you seem to be a very good orator, you would have voice modulation. So when you have made that important point, you have taken the audience with you to a high, and then suddenly you feel that what was the next point? You have forgotten the next point. So in that case, the cue cards or the flashcards would help you. Well, I'll share with you, there are times when certain things, I know this is important and I know I'm going to forget about it, maybe for a doctor's appointment or anything. So there are times when I have made notes on my palm. Okay? Another thing is, have some story, anecdote ready for your presentations, related to your presentation. So when you forget what point you are going to talk about, just relate your presentation to that anecdote. So that way you are infusing some humor in the presentation, and in the meanwhile, you would remember the point which you had forgotten, or maybe something more. Does that suffice? Have I answered your question, Neha? What happened, dear? Have I answered your question? You look absolutely...
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, Saroj Mohan Institute.
Welcome
Good morning,
back.
ma'am. Myself Piyush, sir.
Sorry?
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes? What's your name?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a question that what is case-based discussion?
Okay. Some of these organizations have they have a different methodology for group discussion. So what they do is they present you with some incident, some happening, and they want you to dissect that happening and understand what has happened there. They may give you an incident, they may give you a case, and they may want you to answer certain questions with respect to that. Now, when you have studied that case, when you have studied that incident, post that, they could ask you to go in for a group discussion wherein we would have different perspective on the same case-based study. Okay? So,
Thank you, ma'am.
over there, it is important, I'm sure you must have gone through the slides. Over there, it becomes important that you come up with a contingency plan, implementation plan, everything should be worked out. Even finances could be worked out. Okay, environmental concerns, it is a very wholesome kind of a discussion. So do not leave anything while jotting down points regarding that case study. Whatever comes to your mind, make a proper note of that and then go for discussion. Fine, dear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Pleasure. You're welcome. Yes?
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, dear. Could you come to the center, please? Could you come to the center, please? I can't see. Yeah, better. Yeah, that's lovely.
Myself, Biswajit Pradhan. I have a question in group discussion lectures. My question is awareness of macro and micro view. What is?
Okay. Micro view would be, right now, which year are you in college? Are you a student?
Yeah.
In which year are you studying?
What, ma'am? Third year.
Third year. Yes, so now you would, if I ask you, if I give to you a topic as aim in life, you would be exploring it with respect to getting a distinction in the third year. Okay? And then perhaps you would start thinking about a job. So studying about getting a first class is the micro view of being a student. Being a learner, getting a first class as well as getting a job and doing well in the job and giving back to the society is a micro view. Okay? So micro view, when you are saying it is just there, then, right now, macro view would be a more expansive view of the topic. How it is going to impact me is micro view, my community, this short place is micro view. How is it going to impact the world? Okay, the society is a macro view. Okay?
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Bansal Institute.
Hello.
You're not audible. Please check your mic. No audio. No, sorry, you're not audible. We'll get back to you. Yeah, Sobasaria Engineering College.
Hello.
Hello.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Please go ahead.
Good morning, ma'am. I have a question regarding listening skills.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. My question was how to remain conscious for a long duration in an event.
How to remain
Conscious
haha.
or concentrated for a long duration in any event.
Oh my God, what a question. What a question, and so close to my heart, because I find it extremely difficult to concentrate in those lengthy seminars and conferences and even in lecture halls.
Thank you.
You know what happens? First and foremost, we have a psychological barrier. We shield ourselves from the fact that we would be learning. Before you go for such a lengthy session, do a bit of scanning about the speaker as well as the topic that he is going to talk on. If you can, if it is a lengthy discussion, do a pre-reading of the topic. Now, the pre-reading should not be done with a mindset of questioning the speaker and cornering him. It should be done with a mindset to understand what the speaker is going to say. So then what would happen? You would at least know where you are with the speaker. Post that, start taking notes as I have mentioned earlier. Once you are there, try to concentrate, try to see what he is talking about. And then start taking notes. Make internal summary. If allowed, if it is a lecture, and perhaps some of the professors do allow these days, if you can raise a query, please raise a query. Because when you raise a query, the class in itself gets interactive. Okay?
Sir.
So note taking is the most effective way of concentrating in a class. Internal summaries, raising queries, these are the things which would help you concentrate in those lengthy sessions.
Yes, I understand. Thank you.
Pleasure. Do practice it. Do practice
Of course.
it. Okay, because it has worked for me, so it's going to work for you also.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any other question? Oh, you don't have any question on interview skills or resume writing? It doesn't bother you, such a fantastic bunch. All set. Okay, we'll move on to the next center.
Mathrusri Engineering College.
No audio?
No, you're not audible. Maybe your mic connection is not proper. No audio from your side.
They can send a question if they
You can type your question in the questions tab of AView. Please type your question on the questions tab. KIT.
Hi, KIT.
Hi, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning. Please go ahead.
Is it audible, ma'am?
Yeah, you are. Please go ahead.
How do we present a topic that is sensitive? For example, if I present a sensitive topic like reservation in front of an audience, it might hurt some of the audience, right? How do we present that sensitive topic?
A topic is not sensitive. It is the way we present it which makes it sensitive. Okay? So, normally we... Audio, please.
I'm sorry.
Just, could you please repeat what you've been saying? We lost you somewhere. No audio.
You lost your audio.
Hello?
Yeah, now I can hear you again. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I got the first part of your question.
I guess there is some problem with your mic. The battery is down or something. There's some problem with the battery. We lost your audio. We'll get back to you. Just try to resolve it. Elijah College.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Arjun.
It feels good that you still remember my name. I have a few questions for you. The first one is, could you, with the help of an example, say for the particular topic of globalization in India, explain to us one of the best ways to initiate and conclude a particular group discussion?
Since you have brought globalization, okay, I'm surely not going to give you the perfect introduction and the perfect conclusion. Because always remember, every student is different. He or she is a different individual and his way of introducing something would be different from the other person, and it could be a very good way. But remember, for a topic like globalization, economy is a very important aspect. And from economy, cross-cultural communication, because it is globalization, cross-cultural communication becomes very important. So what is cross-cultural communication? Social. Topics like these should immediately be framed within the framework of the PESTLE concept, P-E-S-T-L-E. Okay? P stands for political, E stands for economics, S society, T is for technology, L is for the legal aspect, and E again is for the environmental aspect. So a topic like globalization could begin with the economic impact that it is having on the society which is multilingual, which is multicultural, and which gives a holistic, organic work atmosphere if we understand one another. Okay?
Yeah, ma'am.
So, and towards the end, you can summarize, because the moment you start discussing a topic like this on the pestle formula, you would have number of points. So, towards the end, one of you could summarize them. Okay? You could summarize as the impact globalization has on the society and the learning atmosphere that he presents to you all. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Fine.
My second question is,
Yes.
how do you overcome blocks when you are talking about a particular point in a group discussion?
How do you?
You are currently when you are currently going by in a flow and talking about a particular point when you are in a group discussion, and you suddenly come with a block of not knowing what to say next. How do you overcome such times? And you said one particular idea that you about saying about the quote, a particular quote you have to keep in mind that you said for presentation. I'm asking you whether we can apply the same method here for the particular idea of group discussion as well.
Yes, you could. You could. Always remember, students, okay, this is a selection process, and that is why we are so worried. Most of you are students here, and you are worried about group discussion because it is a selection process. But that process would end once you have been selected and you move to a corporate level. In the corporate, it is more important to come up with points. If you have forgotten something, if you have reached a black hole, you could always say, okay, fine, I think this is what I wanted to say. There are certain other ideas. I'll get back to them later. Or maybe I was giving you, in order to assess it at a macro level, I think we need to discuss it more, and we need to build upon the idea someone else may have put forward. So now this you can do at the selection process also, even if you have reached a point from where you think you have lost your thread. You can connect your point with someone else who may have made the point. So the moment you make the connection, we talk about value added point, and you get marks for that also in the selection process. Okay, because you are adding up, it leads to team spirit. Fine? So always try to turn these block holes into an area from where you can learn something, from where you can get something, positive areas. Do not look at them as failures. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Okay. My third question, I have a third question. It is how to discuss a particularly political topic without appearing too political about it. For example, say the particular topic of discussion for a group discussion is the 4 years of Modi government. Then how can we appear without being too political?
Wonderful question. You should always avoid being political in a group discussion. You should always avoid being political in a group discussion for the very simple reason you do not know which party do the moderators belong to. Okay? So, for any sensitive topic, for any political topic, you should try to give the positives and then bring out the negatives. You could enlist these things have happened, but if you have read listening skills, there was a mind mapping. So over there, you can just say, this has resulted into this and this has resulted into this. We really must discuss if the fallouts of this particular decision is right or wrong. So you leave it on the group to come up with ideas. So next time again, when you pitch in a particular idea, okay, Also, there are times when you have to take stand. Let us suppose you strongly believe in something, okay? Because people have to take stand at some point in their career. So if you have to take a stand, take that stand, but at the same time, respect other person's stand also. And if you think that the discussion is getting heated, bring it back on the track by saying, we must take an objective view of things.
How do we stop them, stop the people who are actually looking, who is listening to our particular points, to not take our point, the point that we are discussing, in a negative manner? I mean, it could be interpreted with a different meaning as well. So, especially when we are discussing about politics, I mean, even if we are talking about a positive point, it can be taken into a negative point by different people. So how can we prevent that entirely for the entire people?
So before making your point, establish, it is the job of the initiator to say that it is a politically sensitive topic and we must respect the views of every participant here. Because by respecting the views of every participant, we'd be able to discuss wholesomely this particular topic. So let us suppose if you think that other person is getting agitated or is not taking your points in the right manner, which happens, it means it only shows that the person is not actively listening. Okay? In that case, raise your voice a little bit and tell the person, please listen through my point. Please listen to my point and then get back to me. Allow me to speak for some time, listen to the entire structure, and then we will discuss on it. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. One of my friends has another question.
Okay.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Hello?
Hello.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, dear. Please go ahead with your question.
My name is Vishnu Jain Iyer, and I have a question for you. What do we have to do while intervening in a GD when all the members are speaking at the same time?
First and foremost, not all the members should be speaking at the same time. But if it is a fish market and everybody is speaking, okay, in Rome, do as the Romans do, but in style. Okay? So what you need to do over there in order to make your presence felt is body language. Put your hand up, okay, or just slightly. Please give me the chance to talk. I have something very important to say. Allow me to speak just for 1 minute. Okay? Why? Because if you do not talk in a selection process, you do not get the marks. You are not evaluated at all. So it is important to make your presence felt in a group discussion. Also, when you get the chance to talk, establish it, tell them that it is important for all of us to discuss, because otherwise we are not in a group discussion. So I am sure we would all agree to maintain the decorum of the discipline of a group discussion and give everybody a chance to speak. So when you mention something like this, you establish yourself as a leader as well. You may feel, before saying this, you may feel, God, should I say that? They will think that I am